Hello. First of all, I want to thank the organizers of the Congress for accepting this presentation, as well as thank you for your interest to those who are watching this video. Our paper is titled The Impact of Generative Artificial Intelligence in Legal Education. This communication is closely related to an ongoing educational innovation project in Spain at the university to which I belong, the National University of Distance Education of Spain. This project is extensive, so we will focus on the impact of artificial intelligence in legal education exclusively, okay? Well, uh, the emergence of artificial intelligence and the availability of this new tool significantly impact the educational field in general and higher education in particular. This emergence, in our opinion, necessitates the adoption of an action plan from higher education. Our plan begins with verifying the potential impact of artificial intelligence on the current educational model, specifically for activities that students perform from their homes and for which AI is fully accessible. There are risks of fraud and a lack of awareness of AI's capabilities when dealing with highly specialized topics. Well, a second phase follows when we verify that AI satisfactorily responds to the questions posed. There are ways to neutralize AI use or even better, incorporate AI into the teaching learning process. So we must make some general considerations. The first significant result we can highlight is the remarkable variability in AI efficiency, depending on the specific discipline. For example, beyond the legal field, it performs well in summarizing humanities disciplines, but struggles with legal summaries. In this regard, each legal field and subject shows a different level of impact. Therefore, it is essential for each educator to assume a verification rule over AI, which needs to be continuous to rapid advancements affecting response accuracy in each field. We must bear in mind that we are in an highly dynamic field. A year and a half ago, the focus was on the launch of ChatGPT, but now we have over 100 available artificial intelligences. Text generators, image generators, audio and video generators, as well as specialized intelligences in specific thematic areas, capable of commenting on images, translating, and more. Another crucial result, and is also a general consideration, leads to the understanding that university teachers must embrace AI as a constant work and monitoring tool, especially in less updated areas. In this sense, legal change favors the legal field. Regarding specific results, however, we must note that for the legal field, they are modest. Preliminary project results from this perspective indicate lower levels of impact than expected. In fact, neutralizing AI as a fraud tool is currently possible and relatively simple, at least in the legal field. AI has significant limitations and problems. For example, hallucinations, inventing data, inventing bibliography, among many other important shortcomings. These limitations are perhaps the main elements to consider as they help detect fraud or design exercises that are AI proof. The above led us to expect that AI evolution will lead to AI specialization. Okay, but well, the let's summarize some general conclusions of the project that allow us to outline the impact of generative artificial intelligence in legal education. These conclusions can be structured into three areas: current AI deficiencies, the same strategies for assessment activities to render AI use relevant, and finally, the possibility of incorporating AI by exploiting its strengths or its weaknesses. The first one, we can mention a series of typical AI deficiencies. One of the most relevant is hallucinations, inventing data, bibliography, and certain errors in specific knowledge areas. It struggles to synthesize and distinguish important ideas. It is uncritical, it has no opinion, only reproduce. For example, if asked about an opinion of a certain law, it reformulates what the law itself states. There is a tendency not to cite information sources related to hallucination. However, there are AIs like Gemini that cite properly, but there is a tendency to reiterate cited elements as well as limitation regarding academic source. Ugly police writing style, grammatical structure is much more systematic than students' usual language. And there is also a tendency to make incorrect calculations, even simple sums. Both ChatGPT and Gemini show serious limitation, with exercise include calculations. Well, based uh, based on these characteristics, here are some design strategies for AI-resistant activities. By AI resistant, we mean that AI doesn't distort the evaluation, whether its use is accepted or irrelevant. Avoid exclusively theoretical questions. These are questions it typically answers best. It depends, of course, of the specific field, especially, and also it depends on the level of specialization. Increase the length of practice text, and it struggles to determine main and secondary ideas, and it is critical. With lengthy text, is often faced to determine key ideas. Present text in image format to prevent easy copy and paste. Although there are programs that convert text to alphanumeric image, we are complicated the task. Okay. Incorporate calculation, and even simple ones. In some cases, like ChatGPT, it has a significant limitation in performing basic calculations. For example, practical incorporation of econometric formulas. Include elements of personal assessment and critical character. Remember that it is uncritical. Interrelate different areas between topics within the same subject. For example, its interrelation capacity is also usually limited. Require written submission of practice handwriting and design activities where students must draw their response. For example, a current flow diagram, atmospheric circulation map, or administrative process, a diagram of the normative parameter. Well, this set of tools in some AI neutralize its usefulness, while with others that still respond, its use is complicated, requiring advising student knowledge of these platforms. Additionally, we must acknowledge that the issue is more significant in distant education, as the physical presence the presence of the students in the classroom for practical exercise is a relatively simple solution. at least initially. That isn't available to distant or online training centers. Well, and the third one is the most recommended book, perhaps. Well, finally, briefly, incorporating AI into teaching activities and continuous assessment tests. Up to this point, the listener might perceive a hostile position towards AI. My personal stance isn't hostile. AI is a tool here to stay with us, and if we want to prepare students for the future job market, they will need to be familiar with both its positive aspects and its limitations. Incorporating AI into a teaching and learning process promotes student digital skills and demonstrates AI's limitations, at least for now. This also leads to a relative reduction in its importance, especially when presented as the replacement of other professions. An example of incorporating AI into teaching activities could be as simple as requesting a commentary on AI's response to a topic. For instance, ask this AI program this question, copy its response, and comment on it. Thus, perhaps the legal field is particularly receptive to these approaches. We have observed that in the legal and economic fields, the errors in the information provided by AI can be very significant, at least for now. Critical commentary serves to highlight AI's errors and the need to be critical with the feedback from these sources. Such strategies have emphasized to students the limitations posed by AI, especially in highly specialized fields where until now we always note this temporal contingency. It has been notably inadequate or aimed at professional use. In conclusion, we must relativize the usefulness of AI as a knowledge source, always depending on the specific case, weigh its role as a fraud tool, and avoid it distorting the teaching learning process. For this, it is also necessary for teachers to be familiar with these tools, their usefulness and the risk and the reward. In some areas where memorization was previously prioritized, a reflection on the real usefulness of memorization is needed. In any case, educational innovation is, in my opinion, the response to these technologies and evaluating first their teaching potential and the risk involved to finally establish action protocols or incorporate them into the educational process itself. AI can lead to a rethinking of the educational model, making it a fascinating and markedly interdisciplinary research area. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope it has been of interest to you. That's right.